My name is Christian Basel. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS, took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend.
Welcome, fellow Whovians. This is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Unfortunately, somebody, Christian, decided to put in a little the chat saying, "Hey, it's all you," and then dipped out. So here we are tonight. I'm sorry about the little fun glitches of us hitting the commercials, but he's on reboot right now. Our show tonight's a little bit different. As you might have noticed, we're having a bit of a little end of a holiday, kind of our year-end party. And joining us, you're probably noticing that Christian's not here, which is kind of fun. But exactly. But we have a few other people in the TARDIS today that you may be familiar with, may not be familiar with. I'm going to try to be very good and unmute everybody because I'm not sure if Christian did it and they can't unmute themselves, or if they, or if he did it. Who knows? But yes. Carl's out there saying Melanie's in charge. This should be good tonight. Yes, it will be. We'll see if how many glitches will actually happen or not. Who knows? But first, let's go ahead and introduce everybody on the panel tonight. Starting to my left, your guys is right. There is, as Christian likes to call him, the lovely and talented David Chapman from the ratholes.ca.
Hello.
So how cold is it, Dave?
-40.
-40. Why do you still live in Canada?
Because everything in Australia wants to kill us.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's fair enough. But how are other than trying to keep thawed? Are you ready for Christmas?
I think as ready as I can be. My holiday review series ends on Thursday. I just had What Fun just went up earlier today. Great game. I am in the process of trying to edit together a special for Christmas Day here on the Traveling TARDIS. So tune in then. And shout out, because I just happened to have printed it off earlier. Krampus says that punching Nazis is a free action. So if you had any question about it.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Other than that, things are going as well as I think they can in minus 40 degree weather.
Very good. Okay, next to him, if you keep going over to your right, we're going to go clockwise. Mackenzie Floor, the writer of the Right of Wands series, and our Binge Watchers Guide author herself. How you doing, Mackenzie?
Oh, doing good. Good. Excited tonight to do a little bit of Doctor Who Worlds Apart. Very excited about that. I've got my Twitch stream all ready to go, so I'm going to finally launch that this week too. And it being at the end of the year also, it means that I'm under a writer's deadline at the same time. So, yeah.
Oh, fun. That's the great thing about the holidays is for some people, it's like, okay, if you think you're already kind of going a little stressful of getting, all of your normal holiday stuff around, if you're going to be traveling, if you're going to be hosting, if you're going somewhere and bringing food, but then you have all the artists in the house and writers and all that kind of stuff who are also trying to make a little extra money because 'tis the season. This is the time where we're trying to, get into the black, and we're having a little extra kind of fun going on. So I'm going to now spin it to just going straight down. We're no longer going clockwise because I'm going to save the two best for last. Sorry. Mark Muncy, who's all decked out in his finery. Nice little top hat there, sir.
Yes,
How are you doing?
I thought, this is my Tuesday. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh.
So this is Taco Tuesday Club. So yeah.
That's Taco Tuesday.
No, but yeah, they love me down at Tijuana Flats. But it's been a crazy couple months. So I've been watching you guys what limited Wi-Fi I had while we were researching the next book. So up in the mountains of Appalachia. So and it's been fun. So and just
can you
finished the book
say
tour for Erie, Appalachia.
What you've been working on? A little hint of what
the next
eeriness?
book is official. Erie Southeast. So it'll be the Southeast coastal state. So North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, back to Florida a little bit, but even some Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. So
are you going more ghost stories
so
or cryptids?
Ghost, monsters, myths, legends, all the fun folklore, dark history, all the fun things that we love to talk about during the holidays. Racial injustices and child murders and all that fun stuff. Yes, all the fun,
all the fun stuff. So now, for saving for our next two guests, we have Stephen. As you might notice, the word wrecker next to his name, and for our other intrepid viewers that can read, we see Raimi and the word echo. So for our Star Wars fans, because as Dave likes to lament how many times me or Jessica or other people on our show quickly will spin this to a Star Wars conversation, and we have to be reminded this isn't the podcast for that, guys. Stop. So we have two of the Bad Batchers that are amazing cosplayers. So first we'll start with Steven. How are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you for having us. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, so this is quite a pleasure for me to be here.
Awesome. So how long have you... So we'll start with the normal question for somebody that's a Doctor Who fan, so you don't have to fret, Raimi. Who's your doctor?
I am partial to 10.
Okay.
I mean, I got in... So I entered with 9 when everything was rebooted. But I met my wife, and we both started watching Who with 10.
Mm-hmm. So
her companions rose, mine's 10. It's like a love story in our house. So
that's so awesome. So now, Raimi, you're never watched Doctor Who whatsoever?
It's not even I certainly, and in fact after having this conversation I'm certainly going to have to go start looking, and I have questions about this, so we can get into that later in the show. But first of all, I mean, for what looks like basically a fancy phone booth from the outside, I'm looking around and there's a lot of room in here, so this is pretty cool. But yeah, no, I mean, I have not gotten into Doctor. I will say it's a little intimidating because just Steven got into it at 10. I'm translating that to like 10 seasons in. So I'm expecting that this is a bit of a commitment. So again, I have questions. I want to learn. I need to learn at the feet of the masters here so that I can make sure that I do this right.
You're in the wrong place, my friend.
You happen to have the person that wrote the binge watching guide to Doctor Who, so I can help you there.
Okay. All right. We'll unpack this as we go.
Well, the good thing is we have had episodes of what episodes are the best of the best, what are the best of the worst, and also one of our more favorite episodes that we've done is somebody, recommendations for somebody who's getting in and when do you want to start, because there are a lot of questions when it comes to the Doctor Who franchise of, well, like Star Wars, do you start with original trilogy? Do you go start with the prequels? Do you start with now the sequels? Was it because you started because that happened to be the first thing you watched because of your age? Or now that you have the entire wealth, where you want to start? That kind of fun. I
can share some insight onto what I believe is the best theory for watching the Star Wars films. Steven's laughing because he knows where I'm going with this. So good friend of mine shared this theory and we'll go with this. So, back when we were kids, like we started with number 4 because of course why wouldn't it start completely out of order, and we got to the end of 5 and had that moment where it's like we find out like Darth Vader's Luke's father. What? And spoiler alert if anybody's not watched Star Wars, sorry, but and also Yoda's got the line like, no, there is another, and so you're left with these cliffhangers. Now if you watch the films in order starting at number 1, that's all ruined for you. By the time you get to 5, you know who Darth Vader is, you know who the other is. So you start with 4, watch 5, you get that mind-blowing ending to Empire Strikes Back. Now you go back and start with 1, 2, and 3 to get that backstory. You learn about, now all of a sudden this guy that you spent 2 movies thinking was just the villain, Darth Vader, you actually see him as a little kid, and then as a teenager, and then as an adult. So you get to actually start to get attached to this guy and watch his downfall. And then you go back and watch number 6 and watch his redemption. And that lets you enjoy the films without ruining any of the surprises. And then with the sequels, you can kind of go from there.
Yeah, the funny thing is, as you were going, Tom Kozak, the hashtag guru without TARDIS here, he had echoed the exact same
He's got
thing,
it.
No pun intended.
He's got it.
Yeah, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. So, Steven, would you have done the same thing, or are you kind of in that?
That's exactly how I showed it to my kids.
Really?
There was a film student in UCLA who came up with it. It's called the Machete Order, and it's the popular order at Lucasfilm. So for sure. Plus, I mean, you start once you get to that last movie, episode 6. You really feel the pull of the light side, dark side for Luke. So yeah, it's the way to go.
Oh, I have a quick comment in here from Christian himself. He's saying, Mackenzie, I'm loading up the Reality Plus. Wish me luck, LOL. So we'll see how much more time we get to have in the TARDIS without him. And as Tom says,
we'll keep our fingers crossed. He needs to get hooked up with my type of computer, which is made by NZXT.
Now, the game that we were talking about is Doctor Who Worlds Apart, and the CEO of Reality Plus is in our chat room tonight, Mort. He says, Stephen Ramey, I'll hook you up with some Doctor Who Worlds Apart packs. So
that's awesome. Thank you.
Looks like you guys are going to get some trading cards that you get to keep. They are NFT backed, so you get to have those serial numbers that are yours forever and ever and ever, whether you want to trade them or what have you. So I believe Mort is trying to give you that little sample of your starter fix, and here, yeah. So Mort's is saying, yeah, he is. So
the sign of a good salesman, right there.
Yep.
He knows.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the other things, big reasons that I have you two on tonight is because we are getting down to Christmas as we're airing this. This is December 20th. I know that we launch on for our podcast, we air it on Saturdays, so you only have one day to get in on this. But just like the TARDIS, something else is bigger on the inside right now. And I'm going to have you guys explain to our audience what exactly this is.
Yeah, so for anybody that's familiar with The Mandalorian, and that is a Camtono, but what we've done is we've taken it to the next level. As since we're prop makers and costume makers, one of the things that's a popular part of the building, especially the Mandalorian costume, is having to apply that chrome paint finish to the pieces. That's the Beskar paint job, as we call it. So what we've been doing, here's kind of where we went. We've got some dear friends. I don't know if any of I know our listeners, I don't know if anyone else here is familiar with Indy Speeder. So she's a little girl that we're a dear friend of ours and her parents, and she has Down syndrome. But she does not let that slow her down one bit. So what we've been doing, I mean, we've been talking about this basically since the middle of November. We're calling it the Dad Batch Holiday Special Chrome Tono Raffle, and it's benefiting the National Down Syndrome Society. So, all of our listeners, followers have seen this picture right here, and others that we've got of our awesome friend Indy Speeder, who kind of lives her best life and loves dressing up in Star Wars costumes. And her parents, not only do they make the costumes, but they'll also decorate her stroller so it looks like she's flying around in a little TIE fighter. And I mean, it's just amazing work all the way around. And she loves it. So we've partnered with NDSS, the National Down Syndrome Society, to set up a charity campaign where you can donate to a great cause and score yourself chances to win the Chrome Tono and all of the stuff that we're donating to go into and with it. And the reality is the Chrome Tono is only about the size of like an ice cream bucket, which is actually kind of where that whole thing came from back in the day. But all the stuff that we've got in it is tremendously more than what will fit inside there. So I mean, there's helmets and an air compressor with an airbrush and just all kinds of things that are around the craft of costume making and prop building that we do. So we started the campaign on the Star Wars Holiday Life Day, which is November 17th, and that goes through Christmas Day. In the first week, we got $700. In the next 2 weeks, sequential weeks after that, we got an additional $2,000, one each week. We got another $9,000 after that. I mean, so right now we're sitting at over $6,000 worth of donations. And basically how it works is every dollar that you donate equates to one entry to the raffle. So if you donate $1, that's one raffle ticket. If you donate $100, that's 100 raffle tickets. So those are your chances to win. And so we've got a special episode that we're going to drop on our podcast on Christmas Day. So the entries, NDSS is they're not stopping taking donations, but they're going to send me the final list that we can use for the raffle at 5 p.m. Eastern on Friday night, the 23rd. That's 5 p.m. Eastern. So when they send me that list, we're going to put all those names and the number of dollars that they donated into a random generator, and we're going to pull a winner. And that person's going to win the Chrome Tono itself and everything that we've donated along the way to go into it. So, yeah, I mean, again, and the URL for it's give.ndss.org/dadbatch. It's right at the bottom of the screen here. We're super excited. NDSS is just blown away by the response that we've got. I'm getting daily updates, so I'm eagerly waiting today's update to see how we're doing. We did a pretty big push last night, so I'm hoping that we see another big bump. They've been a great partner to work with, and again, every dollar counts, goes towards Down syndrome research, and we're having a good time. It's been a great year to be doing the kind of stuff that we're doing.
Even though the Chrome Tono is the size of a typical ice cream maker, our Dad Batch Chrome Tono is much like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside.
Yeah, if we would literally need like a pallet if we were going to put everything that we've got collected. Fortunately, it's 5 of us, and so we'll be sharing the load of shipping. But it's going to be a big. I've been telling people, if you win this thing, you're going to be your delivery guy's best friend for a few days because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming.
I think you're muted.
Who did that? Okay, so thank you. See, this is Christian's fault somehow. It's hard to explain exactly how much to our audience is in this Chrome Tono. When I say that this thing is like a TARDIS, I'm talking like it is the full-on, has the pool, has the wardrobe room, has so many rooms to this. These guys have done something absolutely incredible with not only just creating this one prop and making something amazing with it. They keep adding things, and they keep their excitement to help NDSS has been infectious, and that so many other people have come forward and been putting things into the Chrometono. There are, I mean, if you've ever started to dabble into resin printing with a 3D printer, they're putting resin in there. If you want to learn, I mean, they've printed out props where you're like, oh, you know, I would love to learn how to do this. So a lot of our viewers do go to comic conventions, and we've had cosplay episodes where we've helped and talked about cosplaying and how to build things and all that other kind of fun stuff. This group of guys has been able to put in little pieces of things, and they're, oh, you want to learn how to make something look chrome? Okay, here's a Lumiluster, and we're going to show you how to use it. And then they put in an airbrush, and then they put in, I mean, it's everything you could possibly need to learn how to do something with this craft, they've thrown in there. And other fans of theirs and just of the NDSS have just keep adding stuff and adding stuff. I mean, the items that you have that are from, if you're a Star Wars fan, this is absolutely incredible. But it's surpassed that. It's just how much love is going to NDSS with, yeah, there's a great prize at the end. It's just, it's so much fun to see how this number keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I really, guys, you need to check out what they've been doing. Go give them a follow. It would be Dad Batch Pod for the podcast.
Yep, on Instagram. Yep. And then we've also got the website, which is thedadbatch.com. In fact, I got to get it updated with the latest stuff, but we've got a running list on there on the website of all the stuff that we've got going into the Chrometono. And again, it needs to get updated. You know, that a lot of what we've got going in here is sort of, like I said, to that Beskar paint job, which is really just how to paint something to look like real metal, whether it's metal or not. So, you know, and those are, it's not that it's just specifically Star Wars stuff. Like, that's a skill that could be applied to costume making in any fandom. So, you know, if you want to take that plastic sonic screwdriver that you've got and make it look like real metal, the same paint application that we talk about for painting Beskar would also work to make that look like real metal. So.
And even then, I mean, could you imagine how chromed out a Cyberman would be? I mean, this would be insane for the Doctor Who fan. But honestly, the other big thing is I really want to push is that this group of guys are just the generosity to be so charitable, and just you guys are just giving with the heart, and really, really just an amazing group. You guys are funny. You guys are hilarious. You guys are just an absolutely great podcast to listen to. So I just want to make sure that any of our fans that are Star Wars fans, go over to the Dad Batch, go give them a listen, and especially if you want to help out the NDSS, just like them, you can, you have the chance to win something absolutely spectacular. Let's see. I am trying to go through a little bit of the comments real quick. I don't know, Dave, if you can or not run comments.
So not paying attention. I'm working on the Christmas thing.
Okay, well, I just called. So
Yell at me if you need me.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but it's like, do I have because some of the like Zoom and stuff, you have to have permission or admin permission. Do I have that in StreamYard?
You don't.
If I do, then yes.
If you cannot see it, you don't.
So that is the answer to answer your question there, Christian. No, I cannot. Because you didn't make me an admin.
Well, Christian is still trying to come back in. We have Amber CT2319. She's saying, love them so much, and please support NDSS. Let's see. So hopefully we'll start working a little bit of Worlds Apart as we go along. Since we're still missing our little our fearless host. I think he's showing up real quick. No.
He's back.
I think so, but he's kind of looking down. Maybe he's in the stream. Who knows? But let me go ahead and remove this comment real quick. So once again, just to wrap this segment up, would be please, if you have even $1 to give. Please go to give.ndss.org/dadbatch. Hey, maybe you'll win something, a little something amazing, but still it's going to help you. Every dollar really helps, just an amazing, amazing charity that helps people. So just please give. I can't go through the screen and grab people, but every dollar counts.
We really appreciate the support. Thank you.
Of course. So as we keep going along with our little holiday special, let's see. Let's see here. Since I am the only person doing the comments right now, Dave.
Well,
we have Cody out here just kind of saying, happy holidays, everybody. And, well, at least Cody's internet's working, unlike some people. Christian's back in real quick saying, gonna start one more time. I don't know why I'm lagging so badly. I think it's probably...
You got to get that Wi-Fi on Metabula 3. It needs to be boosted there,
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think you need a hard line, not be depending on Wi-Fi, especially on any type of gaming.
He keeps routing through Scaro, and it's just killing him. So.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Windows 11. It's Windows 11. I think Tom's correct.
No.
So, you know what?
Oh man, the dad batch just lost power. Wait.
I have these like smart lights, and they're so smart they turn themselves on and off at random.
Oh, okay.
Throughout the day.
I thought an Imperial cruiser had tractor beamed you.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what I thought too.
It's like, oh no, Raimi's gone. Now he's in the darkness. Now he's in the light.
All good.
There we go. Back to the light side. The dark side had cookies. Well, I'm going to do my Christmas ghost story, if you guys are good with that, because I've got to tale shortly myself, because I have to go wassailing. And, and for those who don't understand that, that's a history lesson that the doctor can tell you about. It comes from Vasheil, which was the Nordic tradition. And then, we get a lot of things from that tradition, like bringing punch to everybody's house and everybody's parties and all that. And, and you keep it warm, mulled wine, and you usually put a piece of bread in it. And that's where I propose a toast. That all comes from that. But that's not why you're here. You want to hear a ghost story from the creepy guy. So
yes, please.
All right. So I'm going to give you a Christmas ghost story that occurred very recently. So there is a haunted location in Florida called the May Stringer House, which is a old historic home that is now the home for the Hernando County Historical Society. And it is super haunted. And they have several well-known ghosts there. A man named James, who wanders the halls looking for his lost love. There's a ghost of a man in the attic called Mr. Nasty, who is this really creepy ghost that, is not happy with people. But there is a little child ghost there called Jessie May. And Jessie May died sadly at 2 or 3 years old. And she is known there because paranormal teams love coming to visit Jessie May. And they all bring her toys to play with because she'll interact with them. So teams line up for years to go to this house to go see Jessie May and to play with her. And they bring her all these toys. Well, a lot of them bring her dolls because, hey, 2-year-old kid from the Civil War era, let's bring her doll. She doesn't know what a Transformer is. So, probably doesn't know what a Bad Batch toy is. But, hey, I still think Boba Fett works. But, anyway, so she's there and all these paranormal teams bring her stuff to play with. Well, they noticed recently she had not been interacting with anybody. She had not been doing much of anything. And they got concerned. So they reached out to the May Stringer House's resident psychic and said, what's going on with Jessie May? Well, Jessie May came up and they realized they weren't reaching her. They were reaching other spirits in the building and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And finally, somebody told her she can't play anymore. She doesn't want to play anymore. And they realized she'd been bullied by another spirit in the house. Well, none of the other spirits are mostly family members, except for Mr. Nasty in the attic, but he's up in the attic, miles away. So what was going on? Well, they realized all these paranormal teams had brought all these dolls, and some of them were already haunted dolls. And so one of the attached spirits was bullying Jessie May. So at Halloween, the May Stringer House gave away all the haunted dolls to anyone willing to take them, usually other paranormal teams, for a small fee donation to help keep the house. They did a little auction, but there was one doll that nobody wanted. It was the creepiest of them all, according to the psychics. It was a portal. It had many spirits inhabiting it, and it was probably the main problem. And since none of the paranormal teams wanted it, nobody else wanted it, they said, hey, give it to Muncie. He's the creepy Florida guy. He'll find a home for it. So I wound up with a super haunted doll. And
why? Why would you bring a haunted doll that has so many spirits in it that you would bring it home?
Because I was on the Robert the Doll documentary. So they said, Mark's the creepy doll guy. He knows what's going on. He can handle this.
Yeah,
so what do I do? I reach out to all the haunted museums around the world and said, hey, we've got a problem child doll here, and I think it needs a home for Christmas. And thankfully, one of the many paranormal museums around the world reached out to me with the right attitude and said, we would like this haunted doll to be part of our collection, where we will try to tame it and figure out what child's or whatever spirit is there. And so they brought it to the International Cryptozoology and Paranormal Museum in Somerset, Kentucky. So it was one of our secret destinations on our trip this year, was bringing this haunted doll to that home, where it now has a wonderful display. They've got the story about the doll. The psychic gave them specific rules on how to handle it. And then their psychic, the minute it walked in, said, no, this is bad. This is bad. We've got to figure something else out. So they made a better case for it, realizing that they had something extra crazy. But the plus side was, the minute they got it in there, happened to be where they're at is at underneath the City Hall of Somerset, Kentucky. So it's like going into the X-Files to go into this museum. It's amazing. But upstairs, they were doing their Christmas pageant. And as it was Thanksgiving week, actually. But they were doing their Christmas pageant. And as they sang, the doll calmed down. And the doll, apparently the psychic was like, now's the time, move it, do all the things. And so they believe that the doll is now under control, but they've got it secured and all that. But basically a holiday miracle occurred with this haunted doll, and now it has a home. But Jessie May is now back playing at the May Stringer House and has been reported by several other teams since. So the bullying has stopped. It worked. And if you'd like to visit that house, the Hernando County Historical Society is open through the holiday season with their Christmas display, and Jessie May's room is one of the rooms you can visit. So happy holidays.
No.
It's all about
Happy
scary
holidays.
stories
No.
and stories from long ago, right? That's
no. There's okay. So that's. I'm not saying that I'm like a full-on skeptic, but I would just be creeped out. I get creeped out by any. It just no. Creepy doll. No.
I always just tell everybody, don't poke the bear. Why risk it? If it's a creepy doll and it's and it's like Robert, don't take his picture without permission and be nice to him. That's so hard. You know, that's all you got to do. So
it's one less crazy thing in Florida. I mean, that's a plus.
Exactly. You know, we got to prep for falling iguanas next week. We're too busy for this. So
I've heard that we're going to have the falling iguanas already started. And now within the city limits of Tampa, we have to watch out for hypothermic chickens.
Hypothermic chickens. Yes.
We have
the
hypothermic
possums and yeah, no, the iguanas. You heard the story about the lady in over in Daytona from Nicaragua, where they eat iguanas, and so they were falling out of the tree, and she'd never seen that happen. She thought it was a miracle, and she was with her family. She started picking them up, putting them in her car, and then her heater in her car was working really, really well. And so they woke up, and it didn't go well for them.
So she took a frozen iguana, put it in
lots
her car.
Of frozen iguanas.
She took lots of frozen iguanas, put them in her car. Feral, wild, gigantic lizards with claws, mini dragons. Put them in her car, and then they all woke up, and then they attacked her.
Yes, pretty much.
Oh, fantastic!
So, car accident. Everyone. Yeah. Welcome to Florida. We're not Australia, but we're close.
Can we go back to the hypothermic chickens? I'd love to know what are these chickens that like explode in a fiery ball or something like?
Not endothermic. hyperthermic. They
Hyperthermic.
get
Okay.
cold
Hyperthermic.
and shut down because they're not.
Oh, okay. I read that backwards. Okay.
No, unfortunately,
Endothermic chicken sounds like something that might happen on Tatooine. That might be good.
Well, it's okay because I thought the same thing. I was like, frozen chickens? How? Huh?
No, we have a very large population of roosters and hens and chickens in the Tampa Bay area, especially over in the Ybor City area. And apparently now we need to keep an eye out of all the little chicks and stuff, because unlike when you get further south, like into toward Miami, Fort Lauderdale and everything, that's where all the iguanas are, and they will freeze and fall out of the trees. Now apparently we're having chickens falling from their roosts and whatnot in trees. So apparently in Florida we just keep getting crazier and crazier. So we just, we're not built for cold. We're absolutely our animals aren't built for cold. We're not built for cold. Yep. We need no.
Well, you all have a wonderful holiday. I have to go off wassailing. I hope Christian gets pulled out of the negative zone, and and he isn't stuck in that wibbly wobbly thing from the 5 doctors. But I will talk to you all soon. Happy New Year! It's always a pleasure with y'all, and I will talk to you soon. And give generously to these guys. Great prize, but for a good cause. Can't go wrong with that. So,
absolutely. Thanks again, Mark, for coming in. As he departs, and someday Christian will show back up. Yeah. So it looks like that our plan is unfortunately gone completely awry of playing this game because Christian just can't get his computer working or understand the ins and outs of.
I'm thinking Plan B maybe is once I have a meeting at 8:00 with Jeff Howard, who is a horror screenwriter. But after that, maybe we can jump over to my Twitch, and all I need is his voice in my Discord.
Well, that would kind of work. So now, since we're going completely off the rails now, so I guess we can just make this a Doctor Who. I know, right? Surprise, surprise. At least we're not running commercials, right, Dave?
Yeah. Why don't we start with the conversation with Remy there, where he was talking about where to start with Doctor Who?
I think that's a damn good idea.
All right, let's do this.
Let's just go ahead and go right with Doctor Who. So. For me, if I were to say that where you should start, now you know nothing of Doctor Who, maybe just things you've seen at a random comic convention?
That's what I was going to say. I basically have picked up what anyone would have having attended like Comic-Con and seeing the fandom there. And like, I understand that the doctors change out and that there's an assistant, or there's a better name for that. It's not assistant, but there's companion. Companion. There you go. Yeah. So, I knew the TARDIS and the sonic screwdriver. There's Daleks, right?
Yes.
Okay, got that.
There are Daleks.
You could chrome those with the stuff that we've got in the Chrome Tono.
Yes, you can. You can absolutely can. So anybody that some of our followers that are following from the Dalek builders of Florida, and also.
Hey now.
Because I know some of them actually are also droid builders. So, guys,
there are.
You can use that Chrome. Just saying.
That's right.
Paul, I know you're out there. Donate. So, so my personal one that I always kind of recommend for somebody who's never seen Doctor Who and I think would be a good one just to jump in is actually a 50th anniversary special, because you have actually 3 doctors. One that you see the 10th Doctor, which a lot of people are familiar with the 10th Doctor, and since you know at least a little bit more of the cosplay groups from Doctor Who, you're probably familiar with what the 10th Doctor looks like. You have the 11th Doctor, which was David Tennant. You have the 11th Doctor, which is the Matt Smith Fez kind of Doctor. So another one you're like, okay, I probably, but you're going to be also kind of ground floor with it, because people who watched that special for the first time never had heard of William Hurt as the War Doctor, which was a brand new doctor we had never seen or heard about. And it was kind of you don't have to know anything about him beforehand because nobody else did. So you have 3 amazing actors in David Tennant, Matt Smith, and William Hurt in this episode. There's a lot of callbacks. There's a lot of Easter eggs that you don't have to know about. So it's enough for you to go, if you like it, you can go back and start watching it again. And the great thing when it comes to Doctor Who is you can start at any Doctor. So you could start at 9, you could start at 11, you could start at 10, or 12 or 13, and then pick up from there. So my biggest recommendation would be the 50th anniversary special.
Okay.
Dave.
I'm curious. So just to follow up, do the seasons, like, is there a cliffhanger at the end of season 9 and then it picks right up on season 10, or are they somewhat interchangeable? Like, do they need to be watched in order? I mean, you made it sound like you could maybe jump around from season to season. Is that true?
You can jump around from Doctor to Doctor.
Okay.
That's the best way that I can put it, because originally Doctor Who would be done in arcs of like 4 episodes.
Okay.
And then you could like pick up. So if we're talking classic Who, we're talking about Tom Baker, the guy with the crazy hair, the hat, and the big old scarf. Some of his were done in like little snippets of either 2 episodes or 4 episodes. So you would have to kind of pick up at the first one of that, because each one kind of was a cliffhanger to the next one.
Okay.
When we get into New Who, which starts with the 9th Doctor, it started more of you could start with that Doctor and then run with their series. But yeah, so I would recommend the 50th. And that's a good one where you don't need to know too much about Doctor Who, but if it grabs your, you're kind of like, wait a minute, I'm intrigued. Let me go ahead and watch more about this and watch more than that. It'll give you enough of a foundation to try it, but not so much where you're like, I'm completely lost. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I vote 50th anniversary special. Mr. Chapman, come back to us.
I kind of depend on who I'm talking to.
Mm-hmm.
I have often recommended the 8th Doctor as a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because that was filmed in Vancouver. So I'm talking to people who live there. Hey, watch this episode and you might recognize where it is. A friend of mine, I've said this before on the air, a friend of mine had a shop, like literally, here's the picture on the screen, her shop's here, just off camera. So I mean, there are definitely people who know it. That's why I recommend that one a lot.
Okay.
Other than that, 10 is a good place to start for New Who. Just because Tennant was very good. Tennant was one of the more popular. And is a good start to really ramping up. I don't love Eccleston. Eccleston did a wonderful job. The tone of the series was very different because they were trying to go a little bit more cheesy with him. So I usually, Tennant is a good place to start. Or, honestly, probably right now. But coming into this coming season, the specials for the 60th, because you're going to have the new Doctor that will be taking over. So it's not just a new Doctor, but it's also a new era as far as showrunners, a new budget, because we've got Bad Wolf, Sony, Disney money.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a very different era starting this coming November.
And we're all going to be confused because we don't know why David Tennant's back. He is technically the 14th Doctor. He is not the 10th Doctor again.
Interesting. So now, and I say recently, but recent is relative in the last couple of years because of the world. Recently, we've had something that was a first in Doctor Who, though, with a female Doctor. Yes. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Star Wars fans are either like the best fans, or like they can also be like drive you crazy at the same time. So, how was that received in the Doctor Who fandom?
Oh boy.
Okay.
Same thing.
Yeah, we had a similar issue. In fact, when I got approached to write the Binge Watcher Guide to Doctor Who, I actually devoted a whole entire chapter about the toxicity of the fandom when Jodie Whittaker was announced as the 13th Doctor. And my publisher reacted with, I can't believe you were that gutsy to do that. Are you really sure you want to put this in the book? I said, heck yeah. It has to be, it's something that has to be known. It has to know that there is this, it is not just in Doctor Who, it's in Star Wars. It's where, for whatever reason, people are very anti-women. And that was one of the things with Jodie. Jodie is a great actress. She was in Broadchurch with David Tennant. So I was familiar with her before becoming the Doctor. When she was announced, I'll be completely honest, I was like, really? There's a woman Doctor? I was like completely, it kind of turned my world upside down. But then I thought about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, the character she played was so dramatic that I'm like, if she gets that opportunity, put that emphasis into the Doctor, because I'm very much an emo. I call myself, I'm attached to the emo Doctor, which for me that was the 10th Doctor. So I like having a Doctor that has a very emotional type of background, so that I can pull into the character without giving any type of spoilers. There's something that happens in the 50th anniversary, which for me took away my attachment to the Doctor. It totally that episode completely ruined it for me. Chris Chibnall brought it back, which is kind of controversial without even saying what it was. But for me, that brought the attachment back to the Doctor. So therefore, I feel for me, I have a little bit of an attachment to Jodie Whittaker's Doctor specifically because of that. And it ties really to that 50th anniversary episode. So I'll say when I've had people come up to my table and say they've never watched Doctor Who, they don't know where to start, they have no idea, they're completely lost, they don't know where to begin, and I'll just start talking about Doctor Who, and they will buy the book of the Binge Watcher Guide, which was about series 11, which was Jodie's first series. So it gives you a little bit of a background of what the Doctor was, who the Doctor is, what his or her background is, how the Doctor got evolved from first all the way up to 13. And it gives a little bit of a background on the show, even some of the controversies that were going on in regards to, like, for number 8, he only is in as a movie. There's no other series. There was going to be another series, but unfortunately, the producers at the time had a very bad decision to put it against Roseanne. So, of course, in America, Roseanne won, and the way that TV works, as I'm a screenwriter myself, so I know a little bit about this, because they did not get the audience that they were expecting over in America because of Roseanne.
It was the last episode of Roseanne.
Yeah, it was.
Right?
Yeah. Watch shows in history.
Yeah, and so it never happened. So Paul McGann only gets the movie. Now, one of the things that is very unique about Doctor Who is that we have Big Finish Productions, and that is an audio drama type of company. What they did is they put the 8th Doctor into Big Finish. So Paul McGann lives in Big Finish. And you have all the other Doctors there too. They're, except for Jodie. They haven't done her yet, but everybody else is there. So if you watch a series and you're wanting to know more about a specific Doctor, you can go into Big Finish and get a whole other new range of stories and information. And then, of course, there's novels too, but they're not like sophisticated like how Star Wars, where there's just like bunches and bunches and bunches of them like that. So it's not like that, but it's that way. So for me, if I had to pick an episode where to start, I always say don't skip 9. Even though if he is a little bit cheesy, you at least get understand of the background, the mental background of 9 and how it carries into 10 and eventually goes, it keeps this pattern kind of keeps going on until about 11. And then 11, things kind of change. He's more frolicky. And for me, it was very difficult for me as a fan to understand why is the personality so extreme? We've got Tannen, who's the emo Doctor, to Matt Smith, who is, oh my gosh, mm-hmm. It was very, very different in that aspect. So that would be my recommendation.
I want to clarify one thing, Mackenzie. I just want to clarify one thing. So, terrible controversy. Oh my God, you have balls. It was fine. The line they drew was using proper English.
Mm-hmm.
That's their line in the sand, was that you had to use friggin' American spellings.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
He's talking about my book because
yes,
I actually fought with the publisher on it. I said I want to write this all in British spelling because that's what my Writer One series is written for a British audience, for the Doctor Who audience. So I wrote it that way, and they're like, no, because we're an American publisher, we have to do that.
Do it that way.
We're going to do it that, and I'm like, time. But yeah,
But
I agree 100% there with
which is why I will bring it up every time, just to go, guys, you made a mistake on behalf of
yeah. And they said, well, maybe we'll do that in the future if we get a UK publisher that picks up the book.
But to your point, Raimi, the Doctor Who kind of fandom is very similar to the Star Wars one, where there is gatekeeping lines all over the place. There is a toxicity to some fans, but those tend to be the gatekeeping ones, just like any other kind of fandom. But there's also the ones where you feel like it's a family, where you go to a comic convention, you go someplace and you find your tribe, you find your people, and you have that spark of I could talk about this, and I'm not going to have my family members go, please, Melanie, stop talking about this. There's no, you get to have that infectious kind of, this is excitement, this is awesome. So you'll get that same kind of feeling from the Doctor Who fandom in general, that fun dichotomy that you would have also in a Star Wars one, where you're going to have the not so great fans and you're going to have the amazing ones, but we're all in here. Maybe we just kind of sit back, watch, and enjoy.
Exactly. I mean, so in the Star Wars world, so if anybody's familiar with the 501st Legion and the Rebel Legion, these are the bigger, more popular known costume clubs. So I'm an officer in the 501st. We have mixed reactions from fans out in the world, in the costuming industry or costuming space. We are what we call a screen accurate costume club, and what that means, I think, needs to potentially get updated. So even within the club, there's different opinions on what should be the qualifications to be a member versus what would you need to do to your costume to be eligible to be a member. In today's world, it's got to look like it came off of the screen. But I'll tell you, I've seen costumes that were made out of materials that the 501st doesn't allow, that you couldn't convince me that those don't look screen accurate. And so we're trying to, what we're doing with our show is we're open to all of it. Yes, we're all in the 501st or Rebel Legion, or we're all members of multiple clubs. But we are also open to other parts of the fandom and other parts of the costume building community. And so we're just trying to be good representatives, good stewards of the brand of the 501st, and be the example that we wish the rest of the club would be, and be open to everybody. So we're just trying to surround ourselves with like-minded folks and build this, what we've been calling family around us, our chosen family. And so we're building the fandom that we would like to see.
Mm-hmm. No, I absolutely agree. When it comes to cosplaying, especially, I'm more of a proponent of that there is no right or wrong way to cosplay. You do what's in your means. You put your time and devotion and love into something. Wear it with pride. Go to those comic conventions. Go to those conventions and enjoy yourself. Now, I understand that there's going to be different tiers, especially with the 501st, where you're going to have more, it's going to be more rules and regulations on how they want things done. I understand it, and that's fantastic. But it's
not an excuse to be elitist about it.
Right. No, absolutely. So I've interacted with other members of the 501st that you have no problem, that they have no problem saying, to anybody, I love what you did here, if it's something that you want to do, you critique, you actually are giving helpful advice to keep building. If you want to join, this is where the threshold is, and if you need help, I love the hell out of how there's building parties, and people are very, very open about the best practices on how to make something. Don't learn through your own mistakes. Here, learn through mine, and I'll help you, build the piece that you really want. Or if maybe sewing's not your forte, this is how you can do that. Or maybe this is an entry level, costume. Don't maybe start with that, the armor. Start with something more soft goods.
Yeah,
only.
Yeah, we recommend that often. So it's a good way to get in, meet people, learn, make connections, and then you've got all the hookups for the things that are harder to find, like the armor parts and stuff. Okay, so I've got a question. So is there a Doctor that is somewhat universally not liked, or does everybody have their favorite? And is there one that everybody's just oh man, that season was just okay? Let's hear it.
I would vote it's whoever's the newest Doctor coming in.
Okay.
Yes.
I can understand that, knowing fans the way that they are. Okay. Is that what everyone else was going to say? Whoever it is that we haven't met yet. And then by the end of that season, it's now moved on to the next season, right? Or whatever. Or how.
Exactly.
It goes through this, like, you're the new doctor, I hate you. And then it kind of goes around in this circle where it's like, I hate you, you're awful, the writing's awful, everybody is doing everything wrong, they're destroying the show, blah, 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 blah. I am a cosplayer too, and I cosplay as Jody's doctor, and I've had more than one time where someone has come up to me and go, you, me personally, are destroying the fandom.
They call it the circle of regeneration.
Yeah.
That is my goal, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show is KEVO RISSE from Husbands Talking More or Less. Also now he's at Hubs Plus Network.
Yes.
Yes. But to answer the question where we go through this whole thing in circle is like, I hate you, and then by the time it gets to the next doctor, the previous one is I love you. But there has been 2 doctors specifically that I have noticed that has this, and it's kind of weird because the way that things go is because I write the binge watcher to Doctor Who. I know a lot of things that happen behind the scene. So there is a pattern that has happened, a similar pattern that's happened to these 2 particular people who played the Doctor, with both controversies as well as behind the scenes where somebody in power decided one has been officially known, the other one is not public. So I'm not going to say that this happened, but those who know will know. Saying it started with Colin Baker. That's the 6th Doctor. You could kind of know him as the eccentric Doctor because he wears all kinds of weird type of costumes. At that time, behind the scenes, the producer didn't like him, and you can tell that with the writing. In fact, it was, though now he regrets that he did this. In his regeneration scene, he is not there. It is the new Doctor pretending to be him because he was so upset with what happened. We also had a similar, though it didn't happen, a lot of people like the Doctor, his Doctor, Chris Eccleston, also had a similar problem. And because of that, he refuses to ever work on Doctor Who again, other than the audio. He will do big finish production, but for being on the show, not. But the same, the 2nd Doctor that this happened to behind the scenes, it was Jodie Whittaker, which is our newest Doctor. We had the same thing happen all over again, though it wasn't a producer, and this is not public knowledge, so I do not want to say anything more, but there was something that happened behind the scenes, and it's kind of where we are right now.
That's true, KEVO. You're on Trends a lot.
I'm visiting Christmas.
You're on the Christmas planet.
I've never heard Russell respond to those comments from Chris Eccleston, though. So I would really like to hear more Russell's side of things, because his projection of the situation was that he never planned to have Chris Eccleston for more than 1 series. He claims it was always supposed to be the Doctor regenerates at the end of the 1st series to introduce the new audiences to the concept. So I feel like there is certainly elements of that story that's not being addressed, where Chris Eccleston is saying a lot. And Russell T. Davies has not really commented at all yet. So I'm very curious what he has to say about Chris's comments.
I think he's just trying to move on. I think he's just like, no,
I agree with that.
Whatever happened in the past, and I'm not going to revisit it. Speaking of which, hi, Echo. I think let's show everybody what our new Doctor looks like.
Yeah.
Yay! Ncuti Gatwa, who is going to be the 15th Doctor. He and his companion debuted what their new outfits are going to be like, so we have a vibe of what they're going to be like. So get ready, 2023. We already know there's a lot of cosplayers already getting going, trying to figure out where can I get this fabric on Spoonflower.
Now, is this another first for the Doctor Who world?
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
What?
First Doctor of color.
Oh, yeah.
Second for lead.
Technically,
Yes.
Okay.
First
For
lead.
lead. Because we did have a little bit of
Joe Martin's is going to be a little miffed if you leave her out.
Well, yes, but I'm also don't want there is another Doctor in there because Raimi is kind of new to the franchise. I don't want to be tipping my hat a little bit.
Spoiler alert.
It's a spoiler alert. Because that was a spoiler whenever we all went.
I felt bad for Shooty a little bit because people had found his outfit in other places. In fact, I think there was a gentleman, I forgot his name, but in the original Wicker Man, is dressed up in that outfit, and somebody found Kermit the Frog dressed up in that outfit. So
yeah,
it's just
and
I feel bad. I just I kind of like it because one of the things, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, especially Melanie, the cosplay. I wouldn't think his outfit is hard to find. Even if you find something even remotely close, it's.
And that's the point, I think. I think that Russell likes that for Doctor.
Oh yeah, that's why you had David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston. He had the leather jacket. Anybody can find a leather jacket, and if somebody who's on a budget or just have that kind of
lapels are different.
And he's got rings on his fingers.
But his lapels are different on the outside of that jacket. See, I've already pinpointed everything about this.
So,
I've already confronted, where do I get this?
For me, it's when they showed that costume, I'm like, I'm probably the only one in the fandom who does not like the costume at all. For me, I wish that I like the pants, I like the shirt, but I wish that coat was actually that red velvet that Tom Baker had. I think that would bring him out. I feel this is washes
or
him
12,
out just completely washes him out.
Okay, I see that.
One thing that I do know, at least with all of our doctors, is that after the first season, they tend to change. Mm-hmm. They have something. I mean, if you look at the 14th Doctor, if you look at the 12th Doctor with Peter Capaldi, he started off very much more posh, older gentleman, kind of with his magician kind of coat, and then as he went through his 3 seasons, at the end he's wearing the hoodie underneath the jacket that kind of was a lot
very
more
rockabilly.
Because he's also sporting a guitar and the sunglasses and that.
But then he also had that velvet jacket with the cuffs. He went through several different looks, and I really hope we see more of that when Russell comes back this time. We all love that classic coral TARDIS desktop from his era, but it was the only TARDIS console room Russell ever used, and I think that is such a waste of the potential of the TARDIS. I hope we see a lot of turnover for stuff like that.
And that's another point that I should bring up for Raimi, is that with not only for the Doctor Who fan that that new Doctor comes in, we all hate the character automatically, we hate the actor automatically, we hate everything. The other thing that also gets a bit of under the microscope is the TARDIS. The outside of the TARDIS tends to always have that blue police box kind of feel. Maybe the sign will change a little bit, that kind of thing. But
it'll look more plastic than wood sometimes. But it's overall.
But the inside always gets a huge, rebrand. Whether or not it's, just bits and bobs of junk that they're trying to fly, or this last one was a complete shift, because we went from something that had gears that moved around. It was very polished. It had staircases. It had bookshelves. It was just absolutely like a technological marvel where you can put a lot of money production design wise in this. And it changed to something where it was all this organic looking crystal, and
much more
some people
intimate.
loved it. Yeah, some people love it, some people hate it. So that's another thing that's a little different, that you'll kind of, if you start watching the show, you'll start realizing not only can you see the Doctor, you'll also see the TARDIS that's theirs.
Is the TARDIS sort of I guess the interior of the TARDIS intended to be sort of a reflection of their personality, almost like as they're doing character exploration for that version of the Doctor, they're sort of saying, how would this Doctor decorate their home, so to speak? Is that what the goal there is?
I would agree with that. And it was interesting with Jodie's TARDIS specifically, though I did like the design. I found it was interesting that in the very first series, there is a particular character that she goes up against, and the crystals are the same crystals that you will notice that this particular character also has. So I thought that there was some type of spin to that, and that's the reason why her Doctor has the same crystals in her TARDIS.
It's also strange, you have to factor in production choices. The 11th Doctor had 2 TARDIS console rooms, and then the 12th Doctor inherited his second console room with just like kind of some new bookshelves, and that was all the 12th Doctor ever got. So like it's hard to say there is always the intent of it needing to match the Doctor's personality, because like 9 and 10 also shared the same exact one. So some of it's, it's they do the best with what they have, but I think there is always supposed to be an intent of it reflecting what the writer is trying to tell with their era of Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. And one thing, another thing to keep in mind with Doctor Who is it's a BBC show, so it's publicly funded, or yeah, so it's not going to have the biggest budget. It's not going to have all this kind of stuff. So I'm also saying this before this current season, and it's a property where it's hard to get that star name actor because they're probably gonna be paid scale. And so it's really the show where you're going to want to get somebody that's up and coming. So that's usually where you get the Doctor, that way they can afford them, and they're talented, but it's not going to be really star power there. And it is a show where, just like I would say under like the Star Wars name for film especially, it's do you want to take this property because you're going to be underneath a microscope. Everything you write, everyone's going to have an opinion. Everyone's going to have a strong opinion. The internet's going to hate you. You're not going to have any money to do this, but you yourself are going to be under a microscope. So do you want that job? Now, that was another part with, at least from the last, series with Chibnall coming in. And so you're kind of in who wants to be the showrunner of this? Now, what's kind of exciting, well, I say kind of, it's very exciting, is that we are currently getting a new showrunner that was already the showrunner when it first when it came back out, and for the Ninth Doctor. So after Classic was done, it was gone in the 80s, and they did the whole reboot. Right now, it's kind of viewership's kind of going downward. They got Russell T Davies back. And Davies was the one that rebooted the first time. And now we're getting Tennant again. And as Christian pointed out earlier, we have Sony money. We have, they already have the distribution kind of working out with that. So now there's a budget. So it's a very interesting time to get into the brand, because there's a lot of people going, wait a minute, it's because Russell T Davies is everyone will kind of refer to him as RTD. It's like, it's RTD2. We're getting him again. So what are we seeing? It's
RTD
exciting in a way.
That sounds like a Star Wars movie waiting to happen.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but we also have, now that becoming on Disney Plus, one of the things that RTD wanted to do originally was do a bunch of spin-offs and do similar things with what Star Wars did, where they couldn't do that because they didn't have the budget. Now they can. So I have a very good, strong feeling that one of the reasons why RTD wanted to come back was that he realized my company, Bad Wolf, is going to be able to take Doctor Who into a whole new level, and we're going to start seeing these spin-offs. We're going to start seeing Sarah Jane Adventure type of shows all over again, and this time we'll have multiples.
He tried launching a similar thing back when he was running the show from 2005 to 2010, where he created the spin-off Torchwood, which was a lot more adult-oriented. He created the spin-off Sarah Jane Adventures, which was starring a companion from the original series, who it was a lot more oriented towards kids, and it's just that wasn't the time for it. It was pre-streaming, and it was really during the era where even DVD was hard. Every season of Doctor Who was $100, so people weren't internationally collecting as well or as easily as they are now. And now, like Mackenzie was saying, with Disney Plus behind them, there's so many more avenues for them to launch and have these projects find audiences. So I completely agree. That is probably hugely the allure for him to come back and try to do that again and do it right, and hopefully get a lot more engagement on it. Because it's not that it was a bad idea or that it was done poorly. It was too early in the era of streaming and home video release that it just didn't work.
Oh, and another piece, another piece to add to that is that it's not going to be on BBC America, which is kind of bizarre that you would think from an American audience, oh, Doctor Who's going to be on BBC America. It's going to is it HBO Max because it's Sony?
It was on HBO.
We're not sure.
But it's moving now to
Yeah.
Disney Plus. It will be moving. Everything will be moving to Disney Plus.
It's Disney Plus.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So
interesting. Okay.
This told me a lesson about the fact that BBC America was never associated with BBC.
Yeah.
That I never knew that, and so like I think that's even making me realize why were we all so devoted to BBC America? We complained about it all the time.
Oh gosh.
We complained about the fact that Doctor Who aired there. So like, good, bye.
I'm hearing the game being played of Doctor Who Worlds Apart. So if anybody else is kind of hearing some odd sounds,
Yeah, I'm hearing it
I'm
too.
hearing the game. So I'm sure Ramey's like, what on earth is this kind of background noise that I'm hearing?
Oh, I'm a Star Wars fan. There's always spaceships and blasts in my head, so it's just that's just background noise for me.
Let me see if I can bring my screen in here. You can keep talking as I do this.
Okay, so this is a holiday themed episode, right? Star Wars has the notoriously bad holiday special from 1977.
Oh yeah.
That like I mean, if you can simultaneously be like blessed and cursed to have watched it. So does Doctor Who have something similar? Is there a holiday theme? Like, do we ever see any kind of Christmas or holiday celebrations in Doctor Who? Okay.
We do. In fact, it was at least.
Who wants the floor for this?
Who wants to get in on this one?
Christian, it's your favorite topic. Do you
got
want
the
to
game.
tell him, or are you playing?
Christian?
He is not paying attention.
He's not paying attention, and he's out.
He took over the
Mackenzie,
screen,
go for
Andy's.
it. Tell us all.
Yeah. So with Doctor Who, with the newer Who, starting with Eccleston, there were. Well, actually, not starting with Eccleston. Technically, it was.
Technically, he had a Christmas episode, but it wasn't a Christmas special.
Yeah, it wasn't a Christmas special. So I'm going to say it didn't really count. We'll go with 10 instead. The 10 started off with Christmas episode. And that tradition kept going.
For like a decade.
Yeah, for nearly a decade until we got to Jodie Whittaker. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it was a budget issue or what it was, we lost the Christmas episode. Instead, we got New Year Day episodes.
We know the reason.
Yeah.
So
Chris Chibnall has addressed it. It's specific that he feels like Christmas was too secular, so he was trying to try something different. And it's what we talked about, where you can't please everyone, and he was trying to do something nice, but other people didn't like it, and fandoms are cray, so can't please everyone.
Yeah.
That's why Star Wars just made up its own holiday.
Yeah.
It's so much
They're
simpler.
really pushing that this year. All the merchandise I'm seeing in my advertisements for the Disney Store are Life Day. It's crazy. It's cool. It's crazy.
And that's and for Doctor Who, it was very. We always had a Christmas special, or it was something very similar, at least overseas, over in the UK. It was a program that was part of Christmas. Kind of, it's synonymous to, and I'm glad I muted Dave. Football is on Thanksgiving in November. Sorry, we have a little thing against each other of when Thanksgiving really is, Mr. Canada. So it's over there. It's very synonymous with you have Christmas dinner, you do Christmas, and then you watch Doctor Who, and that was just that was part of life, and it kind of kept shifting around, like Mackenzie had said. We are seeing the game finally being played, but of course Christian can't be on here. So Andrew says the first Doctor had the Feast of Stephen.
And that was the only Christmas episode of the original run, I believe. Christmas became a tradition with the revival in 2005.
Mm-hmm. So here we have... Amber says it's more fun to watch the Riff Tracks version of the Star Wars Holiday Special. I would tend to agree with her as a Mystery Science Theater fan myself.
I was going to say, Riff Tracks just came out of Mystery Science Theater 3000, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So MST3K ended up having, I'm not going to call it a schism. It just happened to be where the cast members ended up living.
Yeah.
So you had Riff Tracks, and then you also had Cinematic Titanic, and now we have another MST3K kind of reboot.
Their season just ended.
Oh, yeah, that's right. On I think they're doing it on the Gizmoplex. That kind of. I'm trying to remember my Kickstarter things that I've followed. But yeah, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is one of my things that I have to watch during the holiday season. All 3 versions of them now.
Nice.
I love MST3K.
That's funny. Space those out.
You have to. They're great. And it's sad to think that you could riff the movie 3 different times, and it's still hilarious each.
Still have so much to say.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and just for people who need to listen that haven't started listening, one thing that I love about the Dad Batch pod, Rami, is that there's a stinger at the end, which reminds me very much of MST3K, always ending with some sentence that I've noticed.
There's always something, and sometimes it's hard to pick, but we've always got something that happens during the show, whether it makes it into the final edit or not. And then Steven will pick something that's just so funny. Like somebody will be singing a song or something, and he'll isolate just that, and then he'll put it at the end as like a little Easter egg for folks.
Absolutely. I love that because it really reminded me of MST3K and just having that stinger.
Yeah, you really want to have a reason to cry. Go back. So there was an episode that we did the week following the death of Steven's dad. So his dad passed away over the weekend. We still did an episode that Wednesday, and Steven happened to have a copy of the last voicemail he had received from his dad.
Oh,
and he put that as the stinger on the end. So that was that one was.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's really cool.
There's always something there, some little treat.
I love it. Jack Phillips here in the chat goes, "What is the card game that I'm watching?" Well, funny you should say. Funny you should ask, because an hour ago we were going to start with this, or we were going to have this. This is Doctor Who Worlds Apart, which is an online card game. It's so think table, kind of like a tabletop game that you would normally play. Again, this is all Dave's background. But it is, you go to Doctor Who worldsapart.com. You can get trading cards and everything for free. You can sign up. You have a playable deck, and then if you want, you can actually buy cards on top of it. And they're in different packs. They're different dollar amounts, that kind of thing. You can also trade them, just like Pokemon cards or real cards. They have an NFT attached to it. So certain cards are worth more, certain cards are worth less, but depending if you've, played this card and it's just a winner all the way. It's got all different types of stats and stuff it can follow. But they're your cards. If you want to sell them, you can. If you want to trade them, you can. All that kind of fun stuff. But it's a card game that lives online. And right now what we're seeing Dave play Christian, who keeps trying to jump in, and he can't do both. It's just his computer's just come on, Christian, get hardwired. Don't use Wi-Fi. And oh, good Lord. So what you're seeing is it's Doctor Who based. So Dave, do you want to explain what's going on and how badly you're beating Christian?
At this point, he's actually beating me. At this point, he just
actually said actually in our private chat that's not actually him.
That's not him, is it? Oh,
well,
top left catch. So
somebody found the private one that I just did.
So Dave is playing somebody else. We don't know where Christian is. That's fantastic. No wonder, Dave, you slowly were getting actually beaten. So all the different cards you see are different characters or objects that are from Doctor Who. All of the images you see, an artist had done them. They had done them. The people who make this is called Reality Plus. They got the artists. They find, so you'll notice like some of the cards have different styles, which are pretty nifty. On the right hand side, you'll see that there's a TARDIS console, and it kind of is like in a game of chess where you would punch the button for the timer to click over, so that way you're kind of assigning time to go back and forth. So right now, the deck that we're kind of seeing, the player here that's on the bottom, that's Dave.
And that's me, Dave.
And Dave just lost.
Yep.
Opponent disconnected. Who was that? Somebody just jumped in.
Maybe it was somebody, from Worlds Apart who was feeling sorry for us, and so they jumped into the private because, maybe they have a way.
It's possible, but I set up a private match, and I don't know why it didn't work.
Okay, so Dave, you want to take it away and explain what everybody in the audience is watching? Since also Raimi and Steven will be also getting free decks of cards courtesy of Doctor Who Worlds Apart.
Yeah, I was going to double check. So these are the cards that Morton was talking about earlier, right?
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
I will try to set up another match with me and Christian again.
Christian's back.
Hey, this is the only way I can do this and play the game. So I'm actually on the cell phone.
It works.
It does
It
work.
For you.
All right, I'm going to try setting up a private match,
Okay.
and I will.
Yes, somebody don't do it like that. They're gonna see the.
Yes, but okay. People who are watching,
You can PM me the sign on the password. Just PM
Well,
it
we
directly
can all
to me.
know it's
all the
TARDIS.
same. Just go in
Quick,
and do it
somebody
now.
in the chat, go
If
get in
someone else
there.
If it's someone else,
I can't see it. I'm
TARDIS,
on my
TARDIS.
cell phone.
TARDIS.
TARDIS.
Okay.
TARDIS. But if somebody from a chat gets in there first,
Someone from the chat, please
I'll
don't do
be
that. If
from the chat.
someone who is catch wants to admit
Okay.
to being,
Mort, get in there.
let me know.
Back out, Mort. Back out. It says joining game.
Good.
Okay, that's.
It says joining game, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go.
Joining
Just
the
took a
game.
while.
Connecting.
Connecting.
Meanwhile, I'm over here editing at the same time.
Awesome. All right, there we are.
There we go.
There we go.
No, that's a terrible plan.
Now, Dave, explain what you're doing for the audience and
you get a chance to give a
people who haven't
mulligan.
played yet.
So if there's things that are completely useless at the beginning of the game, you may wish to get rid of them. And I can't do much with these, so certain cards. So I'm going to do that. I'll keep that. You can't see my thing. I will just let it go. How do I get past this now? I did my mulligan. Now let me go away.
Do you have to click the mulligan on the bottom?
I did, but I don't want to cancel those ones, right?
No, I mean on the bottom.
Very bottom.
Very bottom.
Can't.
There's another one.
That's your.
I just not see the very bottom. Oh, it's right behind it's screen sharing. There we go. You see that is sharing your window icon?
I can barely see you, so I'm not even.
Yeah, Christian, don't cheat.
Okay, so now it's saying you have
It's so tiny.
2 seconds to do something.
Exactly. So you can see here, this is irrelevant to what I've got going on. I can't cast those, so I'm just going to pass my first turn.
All right,
and he
my
will
turn.
React to my having passed the first turn. Actually, does get to play stuff.
So on the board, you have 5 channels. So each one of those channels means that particular card is going to fight or do some action to the other card that's being put down.
Yes.
And you have the ability to just keep passing and going, I don't know.
Pretty much. He's going to attack me now.
Because I notice on the top right, it'll tell you how many phases you have. And one of them, I guess, is a planning phase. Kind of a, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And then you could react, which we saw the first time we ever played. Sometimes Christian just didn't react. So it was like bluffing each time.
For now,
and just
you can see here that I've got more stuff now. Like I've got more Tron energy, which is good. I'm going to come over here and put a creature down, which costs 5.
Oh, hi.
And
so you're
there.
So you put a Triceratops down.
Yep.
That was from an episode of Doctor Who, and it's going after some pig-looking gentleman that's not an Ugnaught, but also from Doctor Who.
That's funny.
Ow.
And it hit it, and it made it go away.
Yep. I have no energy, so I will just end that turn.
Okay, so Jack Phillips is in, and he asks, I'm downloading the game now. Should I get a mainline or public test realm?
You cannot get into the public test realm
without a founder's token.
Yeah, with the founder's token. So mainline.
None of us have here either. So
Christian technically
Christian does.
Christian technically does.
Christian does, because somehow, by the grace of God, he beat one of the actual developers of this game when we were first showing it to our audience, and he won what was called a founder's token. And that, what was the retail on that? That was like
$1,000.
it was $1,000 to get a retail to get a founder's token.
Yeah.
So you need to be serious about this game to have that. And somehow Christian was serious to beat
I'm
this.
very serious.
Surely. Okay, so what's going on? Triceratops. Oh, so the Triceratops tried to beat a Dalek, and it looked like it just
enough power to do it.
Okay, and it looked like
That
it
already
hit a
taken
wall.
damage. You'll notice now that the Dalek has one remaining damage that it can take.
Hey, Kevo.
Yeah.
So Rami has never seen Doctor Who, even though he's and bless his soul, he's hung out here with us for an hour and a half on a Doctor Who podcast, and he's still in it to win it. What episode would you recommend for him to start? I had said Dave had said the
kill.
What do you think?
Can you list the people's episodes again? Because I'm hearing the boys playing their game a little bit more over than your list.
Oh, sorry. So
No, you're
I
fine.
had said the 50th.
Okay.
Dave had said the 8th Doctor, the movie.
Okay.
Mackenzie, my brain just, I forgot which one you said to start with 9.
Yes, don't forget 9. Don't
just
skip
start
9.
with 9. Christian never answered. So
I said Rose, but I typed,
he said Rose.
typed it in.
And that's 9. I'm thinking, there's a video that I want to produce for next year where I actually selected 6 episodes from the first 175 that I think if you watch these 6, it will really give you a sense of whether or not you could be a Doctor Who fan. Because there's so many episodes now, even just the revival, you don't want to slog through this thing that you may end up not enjoying, but it changes so much over the course of even just this revival. You can't really compare the 9th Doctor to the 13th Doctor exactly. I love the 50th, and I think it's great, but I don't know if I feel like it is really the peak entry point for a new Doctor Who fan is part of the problem with that one.
That's fair.
Maybe I'm a guinea pig for this experiment of yours then.
I mean, yeah, I would love that.
I haven't watched any of them, so I'm clean slate.
It's a lot of series openers because I think from series to series, those even encapsulate the differences from era to era. Because really, it's any starting, Rose is great. Even David Tennant's first proper episode, the first episode of Series 2 was great. Matt Smith's first episode in Series 5. Doctor Who purposely tries to be a show that makes itself inviting to new people coming in fresh every single year. It tries to make itself something where you can start with the brand new series. And I'm sure Russell T. Davies as well is gearing up to try and make this something where you don't have to have even watched his stuff. Maybe the specials that have his old actors back. I wouldn't try to watch the upcoming 60th anniversary special if you weren't a big fan. But Ncuti Gatwa, I'm sure his first episode is going to be a cold launching point for any new fan. Any Doctor that looks interesting to you, that you think might appeal to you, that you've seen from clips or anything, their first episode, they try to make the first episode essentially a pilot for new fans.
Okay.
And I agree with Kevo saying with the 10th Doctor, his proper first episode, because his first episode was a Christmas special that he was regenerating and was asleep mostly through it. So it was really a Billy Piper Rose episode. So his first proper episode, I agree.
And his 15 minutes in it were great.
Oh, absolutely.
But he was in it for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I also agree with what Kev was saying about each Doctor. The show is rebooted, so I definitely agree with when we get to Shooty, it's going to be that way. And I also would agree with avoiding the 60th anniversary unless you have watched 10, which that is very, in that case, it's very, the 14th Doctor is going to not go in that phase where you reboot with the Doctor and you have a brand new story. And this time, it's not going to be like that. So, yeah, I definitely agree with either skip the anniversaries and wait till Shooty Gatwa coming in, or go back and watch some of the very first episodes of the Doctors. And really, you can technically watch 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 and get a real kind of sense right there.
Yeah.
And this typically is a question that we do have as, or actually a panel topic that we've done at a fair amount of comic conventions in the Southeast. And it's trying to help, people getting a starting point. And one of those answers I know from the audience, when everyone's trying to coerce the person they dragged into the panel, another one would be Vincent and the Doctor. And that's one where it's the first time that it was the one where I will say that it got me back into Doctor Who before the 50th. And that is Vincent Van Gogh, or Van Gogh, or however you were raised to pronounce it. It's an episode it's with Matt Smith. It's an amazing, fun kind of, you've got the sci-fi elements, you've got the history elements, you've got the timey-wimey time travel elements, but you get a monologue at the end from Bill Nighy that might possibly make you a blubbering mess of just emotionally feeling so uplifted that, Vincent Van Gogh gets to hear a little bit more about the impact he had on the world, when even the most novice of art history buffs or knowing of the artist, knowing that he had such unfortunate mental health and depression struggles. I cried like blubbering mess I was.
I love that episode because for inspiration for me as a writer, I look at Vincent Van Gogh because he has the same mental illness struggle that I do. I had PTSD, and I actually spoke with the actor who played Vincent Van Gogh and talked to him about the impact of Vincent Van Gogh and his interpretation of Vincent Van Gogh. And there's certain things that happen in the episode that the Doctor gets to experience seeing Vincent Van Gogh, how he's struggling, and those things. I have the same issues. Where the other day I woke up and I was like, so I still have those episodes that Vincent goes through, and so that was very personal to me. And one of the things that Tony said was that he actually spoke with people from war that were veterans that dealt with war, and had PTSD, and that's how he got into playing the character, so he could really understand what Vincent was going through as well.
Now, I know that it's pretty late now, so I'm sure, Raimi, you might need to get scooting.
Yeah, I've been summoned to the house to help with. We've got remodeling construction going on inside. And there's something that they're waiting for me to be able to do.
So just before he leaves, just one more time, I would like everyone to know, again, follow the Dad Batch podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. This group of guys, you can listen to Raimi and Steven and Joe, John, and Brian. Right now, again, they are doing the Chrome Tono giveaway. Again, benefiting the National Down Syndrome Society. Again, I'll keep that link up here. GiveNDSS.org/the Dad to donate. You can donate as little as $1, for an amazing charity, and you get a chance to win one heck of a prize. So again, thank you so very much, Raimi, for sticking in and hanging out with us here at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. It was awesome. And you're always welcome back at any point to talk cosplay or anything whatsoever.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I really appreciate the opportunity to promote what we're doing with the campaign here. It's a great cause, and we're just completely humbled by the amount of support that we've seen so far from it, and we're going to keep pushing through Friday to get that as much money for NDSS as we can. So thanks again, and it sounds like I've got some homework to do.
Yeah, and also before you leave, I left in the other chat, there's a link to my Discord that's So when you get your cards and you want to start playing, want somebody to play with without having to go into get brutalized by somebody who knows this game really well, join my Discord.
Yep. Sounds good.
We'll get you those
copy
cards
that right
to you.
now. Right. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep. You're very welcome.
Right. Thanks again, everyone. Great talking to you. We'll talk soon.
Thank you again.
Happy holidays.
Thanks. Bye.
And Andrew, to answer your question, can I make ice cream in it? Probably not, because it has become the Chrome Tono. Let's see. Let me go back here. Let me get rid of that. Banners. Okay, that was again. Andrew, I don't know if you had seen the Chrome Tono giveaway. Is basically my friends Rami and Steven were able to come over here from the Dad Batch podcast, which is a Star Wars podcast from 5 cosplayers that do the Bad Batch. Amazing group of guys, and that they were doing something very fantastic for the holiday season, really. In the Chrome Tono, which again, yeah, it's an ice cream maker, they have put so many different little fun things in there where it's like a TARDIS, it's bigger on the inside. It's a pair of, I think it's size 12 Wrecker cosplay boots. It is the Hunter from the Bad Batch helmet, the one that the cosplayer John, who does Hunter, he used that particular helmet to get into to have the CRL done for the 501st for that particular one. There's so many things that they've donated, made. There's a Lumiluster, which can chrome up anything. There's just go onto the dadbatch.com or dadbatchpod.com. My brain's not working at the moment, but I'm trying to vamp up. But yeah, go check them out. They're absolutely amazing podcast. Give them a listen, as well as everybody else here that you already, you better already follow. I hope, love, pray that you already follow everybody else here. But yeah, again, I'm glad that they were able to come on, and we're playing the game now. And I know that we're not really doing a normal episode, so yeah, we've been commercial free. We're just having fun, hanging out, and watching Dave and Christian play as I just talk over everything. Duke it out.
I can't do anything because Christian is about to win.
What?
Oh, she's so mad.
Also, I think I'm coming up, but that's okay.
That's why Christian was dancing.
Yeah. Because I'm doing 2 things at once, so
No, that's fine.
I'm down for a ride. I'm just gonna do the same thing.
Same thing?
Yeah. Okay. Everyone can see it. No point in not.
Raising funds for a good cause, good work. Absolutely. And that they are going to be at Celebration London. So if you happen to be going to the Star Wars to Celebration next year around Easter time, I know the gentlemen, they're going to be there cosplaying. I know I'm going. So, ta-da. Let's see. It's when you can convert to... it's when you can get a convert to Doctor Who. Well, we'll try. We shall try. Hopefully we shall succeed, especially now that Mort was going to throw both Rami and Steven some
Mort was going to be on the show, too.
Oh.
I don't know if he's come up or not, but I think he said he was going to be on the show.
I haven't seen him jump in the background in the green room, but that could have been something where he probably was going to jump in, didn't see the game going, and probably figured, okay, well, jump in when the game's going. We'll see. We hope. But what on earth? Okay, so do you guys have specific decks that you're using?
I haven't built one. I'm still using a standard starter deck.
Okay.
I don't know if have they even set it up that you can do that yet? I don't actually know.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the founders tokens can. I don't know. They're still developing a lot of things, but 2023 everything is going to change. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ian said that they were having, I think it's next week, they're going to have another YouTube discussion talking about the release of new stuff.
Yeah.
And how things are progressing. So, go figure.
As Andrew says, I think judging by the Disney Plus post likes already getting a lot more attention for the show.
It freaks me out that I keep seeing Disney page posts for, like, when the outfit was announced for Doctor Who and I needed to find a post for my husband to see it. I was like, I'm just going directly to Disney because I know they'll have it up, and they did.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Love it.
It's bizarre that it's going to be on Disney Plus, but okay. I mean, at least it keeps me having to only keep one, subscription service, and I have to start going,
It's genuinely one of my top streaming services. So, like, good. Just add more things to it. Give me more reasons.
Absolutely agree. Jack Phillips says, my computer sounds like it's going to explode. What? Take the game now.
It's probably from all the gaming stuff that's going on.
Do that. Shoot.
That's probably what Christian sounds like.
No.
What's funny is Christian realizing that you're on your phone playing, and yet it looks like you're in a brighter room. And I know you're in this. Okay, because I'm like, it's like your room's brighter. I'm like, wait a minute, but I see the curtain. I know it's the same room.
Well, where the phone's at, it's closer to the lamp, so that's probably why. I guess. Well, I don't have access to the StreamYard, so if you want, you can show people all the Christmas stuff. I was going to show them in the file, and some of it is the current Halls Mats.
Okay.
Stuff if you'd like.
So,
or they can watch us taking each other on, whichever.
Okay, so I can go through Holmat. So Holmat is short for Holiday Matsuri, which is a show, a 2-day show, 3-day show at
3-day show.
3-day show in Orlando. That was just this past weekend, I believe.
Yes.
So Christian went down. I don't know how many days.
I went for 1 day. I just off the cuff, I said, I'll just go to Halls Mat on Sunday, and a lot of friends were like, "Yeah, okay," and they took care of me. They brought me in, and I got some good pictures. Quite a few people have said that the Halls Mat pictures that I've taken recently with this one is some of the best stuff that I've taken. So I'm like, okay.
Wednesday.
I'll take your word for it.
Wednesday and things. Just kind of going through, showing up. Wait.
Good.
Is that Holmat, or is that at Holmat, or is that you?
The Guardians of Gallifrey. They actually had a tree, and they put the doctors around it. And I just put my TARDIS right next to it, took a picture, and quite a few people like that. So I was like, okay.
Which is funny because it kind of almost feels a little bit to scale. Not perfectly, but just a little.
Bahu Doris, indeed.
I was thinking that. Thinking like, this reminds me of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's all the Who. It's Who's.
It's all the Who. It's the Whoville.
I'm gonna get booed probably, and I don't care at all. Especially with Russell T Davies back and us entering the Disney sphere. I would love a Doctor Who musical special. Not even starry.
I would be fine with that.
I mean, I love the hell out of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that when they did a musical one, I'm like, this works, and it was good.
I don't know if you remember the spin-off of Buffy, Angel, when they did the puppet episode. And when I first saw it, I was like, this is odd. And then I just let it grow on me. Eventually,
I love just kind concepts.
That episode was hilarious, especially just one, the nose coming off. And two, when Spike saw Angel for the first time, and it was like, you're a bloody puppet.
Puppet man.
Stop laughing.
I got to admit, when I first saw it, I'm like, this is really odd. And it's just like, after it just started growing on me over time, it's like, you know what, whatever. I guess it's the thing.
I'm good with that. And honestly, Doctor Who as a property could get away with just doing a really campy, kind of fun holiday musical. Absolutely could. Find a planet or a monster or something that where everyone just starts singing. Give me actual Whoville.
A few years ago, I think it was even specifically one of the moments I can pinpoint for it was while I was sitting watching Rise of Skywalker. And I just said to myself, would I have enjoyed this when I was 8? Yes, I would have. then what am I making apologies for enjoying this for? And, you know, I feel that way about so many things. I just watched all the zombies movies from the Disney Channel. They're hilarious. They're so entertaining. People are so pretentious. Just enjoy things. Just stop. If you like dark things, then sure, go for it. But like, if you like musicals, if you like silly things, just like silly things. Who cares? Just have fun.
Right? Going back in the chats a little bit, we've got Andrew Morris saying, given RTD got the BBC and HBO to co-produce his Dark Materials, it's no surprise he went to the biggest streaming company for Doctor Who. Not fair. By the way, many Marvel creators are huge Doctor Who and Star Trek fans. Trek is already taken, so that leaves the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's Paramount Plus over here. I mean, it's the same thing in the UK. Let's see. I know where that is. Cool pick, Christian. I've had to go back and forth. Sorry, guys. Is there a good beginner deck that you would recommend?
Everyone's deck is different. I have destroyed people with this deck. I have died horribly on this deck. So, no. But
I'm afraid to, because I don't want people kicking my butt, but I think I've figured out how to a good deck. You don't want... You want a good... Normally I would say get a unified deck. Like if you're going to do Silurians, do all Silurians. You're going to do Cybermen, do all Cybermen. Because they have certain things like the Medosian cards and stuff that kind of support each other. And I picked the Dalek deck. But you want also a good balance. You don't want, 15, 20, and all those guys. And then when you start playing, all you got is 4 Artreon points to play with. And you're looking at your deck like, I can't play with anything. And that's what I did as a mistake earlier in my time. It's like, oh, look, this is the big stuff. But then again, like, you don't get enough Artreon points. So you want to have lower characters. And some of them, like the ones I've got here, where, they do damage.
So I was just showing the...
So, like, here's an example. Like, I got the Telos thing, and that's supposed to help boost my Daleks up. And I've got Daleks, so...
I'm such a Skyrim person. I thought you said Talos. Oh, I need help.
Telos.
Like, buy Talos. I'm like, oh,
My
wait, no,
Talos.
wrong property, Melanie. Pay
Sorry.
attention.
Telly Savalas, got it.
Yes.
Yes, bald guy.
Bye, Kolchak.
Lollipop.
Kolchak. Not Kolchak. It's the Night Stalker.
I like Kolchak. Kolchak was awesome.
I see showing the photos now of Keep the Han and Hanukkah.
Yes. I'm not even looking at your photos. I'm sorry, I didn't even see what you were seeing.
No. I see
that one.
The TARDIS.
Believe it or not, that's the Disney Studios, of all places.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I see Elf.
And I'm going to jump on with Christian there and say, deck. I also play a Dalek deck. In fact, that's the only deck that I can play where I don't get beat up. So I use a Dalek deck.
So what I'm hearing here is Mackenzie's next up.
No, I would love to.
Well, she can't stream it though. It's a problem.
With Jeff, so I jump out.
I don't even know what's going on with my computer because it was working when I was playing with Zygon the other night, but I had like strip everything down. I like shut off all the program. I've even uninstalled a few programs, and it's still acting weird. Now I know that Morton and the team said that they were going to do some improvements to help work with StreamYard so we can do stuff like this, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, it's just not kicking in at the moment.
Well, how about this, Christian? After my meeting, which it's supposed to be done around 10, if you're still up, jump in my Discord and we can try and see from my OBS, see what happens.
We'll see.
Windows 11.
I will try, but I'll definitely take that as a rain check. I really do want to. I really do love this game and trying to get to it. Zygon kicked my butt the other night, Dave. It was just horrible. It's like I'm like, and I played, as you said, I played with this deck, and I got my butt handed to me. So I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Just so that Christian hears it, since he's not seeing the screen. Andrew Morris says, well, good night, guys. Visiting my nieces for a pre-Christmas meetup in the morning. Thanks, guys, for all your time and work on this year is much appreciated. Have a lovely Christmas.
Oh, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
Merry Christmas, friend.
And on that note, I'm going to be jumping off so I can do my meeting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will probably
if anybody might be still up and want, I will be either streaming this around a little bit after 10, or I will be doing
Just watching things beat up each other. All right.
Yeah,
bye, Mackenzie.
Bye.
Flawless victory here. This is not good. Yeah, I'm absolutely toast here.
Sometimes these cards do weird crap. Like, where did that come? Like, 2 of the cards just jumped into the Dalek. I'm like, what did that do? So, what the hell is going on?
Line cancel. That's a bad plan like that.
Oh, hi there.
There's Sea Devils and there's emerging Sea Devils.
Ooh. Oh, that's it.
Wait.
Yeah.
You poisoned my Dalek, so I'm not happy.
Haha.
There's nothing I can do. Have fun with that.
I could have done that. Oh well.
Oh, what else can I do?
Yeah, Tom says,
There's nothing else I can do here unless I want to, like, yeah, I don't have any back cards. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, I got nothing. For the record, I got 2 creatures. Both of them are much bigger than what I can do. So
yeah, I got a dino.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Nice.
It looks like
that's all, folks.
That's all, folks. You can try one more if you want. Or
my supper will be almost ready.
Okay, let me get out of this.
There, pump. I'm out.
And then I can go back into the StreamYard.
Yes.
Why? We're just gonna we'll just all leave him.
Just keep me out. Is that how you want it?
It's
really?
No.
Show, you know.
Whatever.
I'm sure I'll do better if I wasn't also, building another
multitasking during a show.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm multitasking for a show.
What else is new?
I can only edit this, 5 to 10 seconds at a piece to drop a new photo in. So it's like,
I think Christian's trying to get in, and so should I just? Okay, I guess he just decided to leave.
He might come back in his other form, possibly.
That's more like it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Get over here.
See, now
there we go. Now I feel better.
Issues. All right. Well,
we're gonna have an episode where it's all.
I just sit outside.
You sit outside.
Right.
Yes, come over here and sit outside, Christian.
Sorry.
No.
-40.
I cannot fathom those temperatures.
So I just want to reiterate: last day is today to donate for this giveaway.
The 23rd.
Oh, the 23rd. Okay.
The 23rd is the last day to donate. I really KEVO. Oh wait, too far. So. Oh my god. So. I wonder if I'm doing this right. Yay! So this where am I? This way. But I gotta turn my finger this way. Here we go. It's so sad, my life. Okay, so the Chrome Tono.
Somebody take a thumbnail right now.
Okay, guys, seriously, this thing that they've done is they've already went past $5,000. It's a one person winner takes all, and it's insane to say what is in here. I mean, there are crew jackets from like crew jacket from one of the movies is in here. One of the newer ones. I want to say I don't think it's Rogue One, but it's one of the other ones. There's coins that are in this that are crew medallions that a crew member from I know Rogue One was one of the movies, which made me go because I love that movie. So we can actually see me. There's the resin, because Frozen is a company that makes the resin, the liquid resin for those kind of printers. There's a couple, I think there's a couple bottles of that in there, at least one bottle is in that. These guys have printed out things that people can go ahead and practice how to chrome stuff. So aluminum lusters in there. To use that, you would apply it with a airbrush. So they threw an airbrush in there. These are all professional cosplayers that are in the 501st. So they've donated, like I said, that a lot of them, they're for me, they're known for being Bad Batch, but they all have different other outfits and kits that they'll troop in. I think there's a pair of the Wrecker boots that you could wear in this. There's the tech the glasses, the goggles are in this. The helmet that was Hunter's, that's already fully painted, that's absolutely screen accurate, all that kind of fun stuff, that's in this. The list goes on and on. And every other minute they're like, oh, I printed a pair of Cad Bane guns. I'll throw those in there. There's wearables, there's collectibles, there's jewel there. I think there was an Ahsoka. They just added a necklace that's Ahsoka Tano that was signed by Ashley Eckstein. That's in this. I mean, honestly, it's not just you're getting this little, the chrome tono. You're getting so much stuff that, I mean, you would retail for hundreds of dollars, and they're just, giving it because of the love of Star Wars and hoping, hey, this will entice, people to maybe buy a raffle ticket, and one person's going to win an insane amount of stuff. And I wish I had the list where I could go down, and I know that they've had their latest episode, they went through all the things that were in here that any Star Wars maker, any Star Wars fan, I mean, it's stuff that if heaven forbid I won this, I wouldn't know what to do with everything. I would probably start giving it away to most people because there's just so much things in this. And it's all being donated just to help with the National Down Syndrome Society. Because there's one particular cosplayer, Indy Speeder, that she is, I would say that she's kind of the ambassador for this, not to speak out of turn, because she is a cosplayer. She shows people, living with Down syndrome, that how just absolutely breathtakingly amazing she is, and that what you can do and what your outlook can be, because the NDSS helps her, and especially her parents, with how much she's done with cosplay and learning to be out there in the community and all this other kind of fun stuff. I think that she was the inspiration for them to again, I apologize if I'm speaking out of turn. I think she was the inspiration to donate to this particular society for this one. But yeah, they're already well past 5,000. I think he said they were past 6,000 already. They're hoping for 10, but it's insane to know what's in this. So if you can donate, it's a great cause, giving it to to charity. It is through their link, give.ndss.org/dadbatch. It's tax deductible because you're giving it directly to the charity. So if that's an extra part that will help, ta-da. But yeah, I can't say enough about this particular, I want to keep pushing this for them, and they're a great podcast. They're a great bunch of guys. So if you like Star Wars and all that kind of fun stuff, give them a listen, subscribe to them, because I know they're definitely on Podbean or whatever. And it's the dadbatch.com, I believe. So I'll shush now. Ooh, back over here.
Hurt your neck anymore.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you. No, thank you, and I want to thank everybody from the our Star Wars podcasts over there. Check them out. I got to see them on Instagram with you the other night. They were like, yeah, we're going to be on this show. I'm like, yay.
Yeah, they're on Instagram. So if you go onto the dadbatch.com, you can see where you can click through and see. Oh, I think actually I could find. I know where I think we're trying to wrap up, but I'll just kind of quickly show you the level of their cosplay because I tried to get a photo and I didn't.
I didn't have the original picture, or maybe I can find it. Hang on a second here. Oh yeah, I can pull. I think it's on Facebook. Hang on a second. Go ahead and pull up. I want to share something.
So Steven was all the way on the left-hand side. That's his Wrecker, and Raimi is the fourth one in. That's his Echo.
All right, fine, folks. I'm out of here. If you join back to us on Christmas Day at o'clock, there will be an episode that I am in the process of building, appropriate for basically just sitting in the background. There'll be some greetings from some of our cast members, hopefully some of our guests, a very special surprise from Simon Fisher Becker that'll pop up about every half hour in this episode. Yay. I'm hoping that it will be a couple of hours long of mostly background. Like I said, it's not going to be a big talky episode. It is very much a Yule log type in the background. Lots of pictures, lots of music, and some cool fun stuff. So stop in, join us on Christmas Day. Give us some extra streaming hours, times, and all that. Other than that, Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, because that is actually a thing right at this exact moment.
Yep.
Kwanzaa, Festivus, pick a thing.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yule.
So, solstice in very short time. Happy birthday to me. And
when's your birthday?
It according to Facebook tomorrow, but it's actually on the 22nd. It's on Thursday.
Ah, okay. Happy birthday.
Okay. I had to lie to Zuckerberg because security and some safety issues, so I had my birthday off by a day.
Oh, okay. That's cool. No, mine's the 26th. That's why I was like, ooh, when's your birthday?
December, baby.
I was about to say I was very tempted, Dave, to play his thing, but if you're running it every half hour. On Christmas Day, we will have an episode. No, it's not one of our episodes of the Traveling TARDIS. This is going to be the last episode of the year. I don't know if you've gone to YouTube and seen people are usually having music playing all day long throughout their thing, but we're going to be doing the same thing, but we're going to have some special stuff in between. We're going to have pictures of the Traveling TARDIS throughout the holidays. As Dave said, we're going to have some guests, and we have a special reading from Simon of something. But Simon did a big thing for us. I know Simon did a wonderful thing for us, and you'll see it on Christmas Day as we premiere. It'll be running all day. It'll start on Christmas Eve, run through Christmas Day, and we got to give a big shout out to Dave for putting this together because it's going to be a wonderful thing. And while you're celebrating Christmas, you could probably put it on, if you have your TV, you put it on the YouTube channel, just have it running all day with the Christmas music in the background.
I would like to point out that in the 2 hours of this episode, I've gotten 7 minutes into this video.
Oh, God.
Yep,
and
that's editing.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
A bunch of photos, and I have to drop it in and extend it and check it and So anyways, have yourselves a wonderful night. I'm off. My supper is ready in my room. It is going, dude. So
go eat.
I'm out.
Go eat.
Thank you for working so hard on this.
Always.
I actually can't wait to see what Dave's gonna put together down there. So
how many hours is he trying to go for?
He's going for 2.
Okay.
I mean, that's
the editing part of me went.
I like, hours. You know what? If you can run an hour, if you can do an hour, that would be great. If you can do a half hour, that would be swell. But he goes, no, I'm going to run for 2 hours. I'm like, okay. But I did say, he goes, just send me a lot of pictures. And then go, okay, here's a batch. And he goes, do you have any more? And I'm like, here's another batch. So he's got a ton of pictures to choose from down there. Oh, nice. Wow, we're already at 8 o'clock.
We're at 8 o'clock. We are.
Yeah, it took me
we
an
have
hour
done
just
it.
to get, sorted, and apparently I'm not sorted yet. So
you could not get into this show for the live. That's why I was like, well,
no. What would happen is, I got into the show. I load up the reality engine. I would get into the backstage, but then I would try to load in the the share screen,
yeah.
and it kept kicking me back out.
Were you
Yeah.
on Wi-Fi or hardwired in?
This computer should be hardwired.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I
going
just
to
thought it
check
was always.
again.
I assumed it was Wi-Fi. I just kept blaming
No,
Wi-Fi.
it should be
Sorry.
hardwired. I don't know what happened, because the last time we did the Worlds Apart, I had to do everything. I stripped everything down, got rid of anything that was running in the back, took everything down, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but I was able to play with Zygon. He kicked my butt twice. But we were still able to run it, but still, it was like delaying and stuff.
Who was Zygon? How did they get into your room?
No, he's I don't know his real name, but he's one of the guys from Worlds Apart. I just said,
Oh!
I wanted to do a test run from Worlds Apart just happened to realize I was running, and he goes, "No, I'll play with you." And next thing I know, my rear end was being handed to me.
Because that's where you weren't playing, and I know Dave was just in that. How is this person get hacked into my private?
Yeah, I'm sure
chat?
Worlds
So we're
Apart
kind of
jumped
like,
in, so
maybe it's somebody from Worlds Apart.
it's a possibility. I was just like, okay, but it would like you said, we didn't even give away the password. It was in our private chat, and I was like, okay, give it to me. And then as soon as he goes TARDIS, I was like, okay, type it real fast before somebody else jumped in. I don't think anybody else is out there.
No, just in the chat.
Well, as usual, thank you folks so much. Appreciate everything you guys done. Getting us over. We're closing into our goal of 65,000 Whovians.
We're at 6. I thought we hit 65. I thought
Wait. Are you serious?
Let me go. I could have sworn I went online and I thought
check it out there.
Let me look. Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I could have sworn I went on here and was like, okay, where's the page? Your shortcuts.
Let me check. Hold on.
I can't read that.
Mine says 60K. It says 60K likes, 65,000 followers on my phone. So I don't know if it rounded.
There you go. Over 65,000.
There we go. 65,000. How did I say? Because I know it was 65. I was like, I saw it this morning. I'm like, no, we hit 65.
Okay, so we've hit our goal. Thank you very much before the end of the year. We also hit 2,500 on the YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go over right now and just youtube.com, Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. This is great down there. Don't forget to check out Husbands Talking More or Less. KEVO and Nico on their podcast. They're talking it's mostly Marvel, right? But there's other stuff as well.
Yeah, we actually need to get back into our content. We've been focusing a lot more heavily on X's for Podcast, which is Nico's comic series. We actually just started our own weekly live show as well. We have a Sunday brunch every Sunday at 10 a.m. Where the X-Pack, the X's for Podcast team, talks about their titles. They've been doing the show in podcast form for years, and now I've started producing. I'm doing what you guys do. Wow, is it exhausting and frustrating, but a lot of fun. And so yeah, we have 4 under our belts now at Hubs Plus Network, and we're taking 2 weeks off for the holidays, and then January 8th we're coming right back, and every Sunday at 10 a.m. you can find us at Hubs Plus Network on YouTube. If you like Marvel comics, we discuss different comics every week. Nico also has a show about Daredevil, the comics. He and our co-creator of our comic series, Kid Riot, have been going over it's called Billy Club, and they've been going over Daredevil's history. So, we love Marvel, we love nerd stuff, and we're probably going to be doing a lot more me and Nico stuff coming up in 2023. So, yeah.
Cool. Absolutely. Cool beans. Again, Husbands Talking More or Less. Check out their podcast out there. I'm pleased to announce we haven't put out the event page as of yet because I just talked to him this past Sunday with Ben, but we are going to confirm that our first convention of 2023 will be Central Florida Comic-Con on the 21st and the 22nd. We'll be representing Doctor Who, and I was warned, send in my damn panels tonight because they're putting the schedule together. So I will.
You better.
Yep. Yep. So
Need help?
that was a nice damn, by the way. It wasn't a mean.
That was nice. That was a loving gesture.
It was a loving gesture so that we can
hell
up. Yes. So Facebook.com, The Traveling TARDIS. Again, right now, subscribe. YouTube.com, The Legend, The Traveling TARDIS. Thank you for hitting that goal, 2,500. It's still growing. I think it's like 2,580 something. So
bless all of you.
Yes.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe as always. Before it goes away, from what I'm hearing, there you go, TikTok.
What the hell would be going on? I don't know.
I just heard a rumor that it might be going away.
It's going away like Twitter's going away. Okay,
exactly,
fine.
Exactly.
I believe when I see it.
And for those of you who need it, please get some help. Get a friend. Get your family. Somebody to talk to. 800-273-TALK, or better known as 800-273-8255, or text somebody 988. Please, just if you feel it's that time of year. I've had a few friends reach out to me and just like, I need to talk. Seriously, I need to talk. And they just I said, hey, what do you need? And I spent a few minutes with them talking back and forth, but just sometimes it just needs that moment of just letting them know, hey, you are important, you are special. Don't ever feel less about this. This holiday season brings us down because we want the best of everything, and sometimes we just feel less than that, but you are the best of everything. Just remember that you are cool, you are special to us, and we want you to become part of the legend always as the years go by for us out there. So
one thing I want to add to the suicide prevention hotline is it's not necessarily that you are right at the brink of suicide. I'm talking like if you feel like you're noticing, depression doesn't always just happen. It does. I mean, it can come on suddenly, but it can come on suddenly even though you've experienced it before. You've experienced it, maybe weekly, daily, and sometimes your bouts of when it hits might be quick, where you're just in a very depressive state. The suicide prevention hotline, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are about to commit now. I'm talking if you're realizing I am really, really just in a very down state, that slope can keep going. So if you need to talk to someone and you feel that you're not necessarily suicidal, but man, you're in a dark spot and you don't know which way is up, this is the line. This isn't necessarily because
people are very afraid of wasting the time of the people who work on these hotlines, and they are always the first ones to say, you are never wasting our time.
No.
And you should never let it get that far. That's the purpose. It's if you can start talking about it before it's too late, they want to try and help you catch that. So it's not something that, when you're at that ledge, if you're feeling that, that's what they're there for.
Exactly. It's severe depression. You can call this hotline. You are at that point where you need to speak to someone. You don't have to put the label of suicide on it. Maybe you're not thinking of that right now, but you need to talk to somebody because that might be on the horizon. We just don't know how soon. That's what these people are here for. Let's turn you back and help turn you back up on a good ledge. Feeling better about yourself, because you should feel better about yourself. Let them help you feel that way. Because let's face it, when you're depressed, your brain's not working well. Why would you think any other organ that's not working well all of a sudden just feel better? No, these people are here to help you.
And the good thing about these numbers, they're 24/7. If you're up at 3 a.m. and you just can't get to sleep, or something's bothering you, 2 in the afternoon, whenever. And these numbers are not just for the 25th of December. They're for the 25th of February of next year, or April 25th, or any day of the week where you're just that particular day just doesn't fit with you well. Please reach out to somebody. And if it's not these numbers, get a family member, get a friend, just talk to somebody and try to get a handle back onto that moment that you might be losing on out there. Whew. Where are we? I'm sorry. I always break a moment up there. Oh, so
Well, I think we're wrapping up. I mean,
I
we
think
have
we are, yeah.
few people still. Like, we have quite a few people still watching us at the 2-hour and 15-minute mark. Bless you all. But yeah, we're wrapping up for the end of the year. You know, I think we're about to push the button to say
Yes, we are. And
let it go into YouTube and you can keep catching up.
And don't forget Christmas Eve. We were going to have our special Christmas episode that'll be playing all day. You can just run it in the background, just listen to it. According to from what Dave's putting together, there's going to be pictures of the Traveling TARDIS. All of us wishing everybody well. And what else am I going to do? Okay. And we just want to give you this present from all of us here for being with us for as long as you have, and to see it in next year, because there's going to be a lot of great stuff coming, and we are starting out already with one convention in January, and let's see what New Year holds. So from all of us here at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS and Husbands Talking More or Less, and over on the Instagram with Pieces of Melee, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to say goodbye, and we will, as my friend says, see you next year. I got to push a button, so I've got half a heart up. Hold on. Boop.
Do extra for you.
And then I'll push the button. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well,
oh God, this is gonna be an hour. This is gonna be an
hours.
hour. This is gonna be an hour.
Happy holidays, everybody.